What's going on YouTube? Welcome to my channel Money Moves with Kay. I'm Kay and today we're going to talk about the construction to permanent loan closing and the process and everything that it entails. We had an amazing day as you can see from the thumbnail, but yeah, let's get into it. If that's something that you're interested in, please stay tuned. Alright, so before we get started in the video, go ahead and be sure to like, share, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me get this information out to a wider audience, and it also just allows me to get hyped about these videos. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So this recap is just for the new folks to the channel who are new subscribers. My family and I are basically constructing a home from ground up. And in addition to the home, we'll have a guest house in which we'll rent out to travel nurses or Airbnb guests in general. We'll also be renting out this property in the same manner, whether it be a traditional renter or a travel nurse or Airbnb guest, okay? So we're constructing from ground up. So during this process, we learned a lot. So this is our first time constructing a home. We have pre-existing homes that we purchased in our portfolio, but this is the actual first time that we are constructing a home. So we're learning a ton of information. And because we're learning it and going through it right now, I wanted to pass the information on to you guys. So let's get started. So the first thing I want you to kind of get in the mindset of is that your loan, your construction to permanent loan could actually have two closings. And that like shocked me. I'm like, what? I thought it was one. I thought we done, one and done. But our particular loan has two closings, okay? So there are two phases to the construction to permanent loan closing. It's the construction part and then there's the permanent part. All right, so there's two closings with that. So with the construction closing, majority of the costs associated with the construction to permanent loan closing is really tagged on here. Okay, so they want to make sure that most of the fees during that closing are associated with this particular closing. Okay, so another thing to also keep in mind is that during a construction to permanent loan closing, if you have your own land, meaning you've purchased your own land, then the equity in that land can serve as a down payment towards your it can serve as a down payment. So keep that in mind as you go through the process as well. Some of the costs associated with the closing for the construction portion or the construction phase is the down payment, closing costs, and any other prepaid expenses that are included into that. I want you to keep in mind during this phase of the construction phase, you will be making interest-only payments on only on what was being used during the construction phase, okay? So interest-only payments. When you get to the permanent phase, which I'll get to in the next portion of the video, once you get to the permanent phase, you'll be paying interest and principal, right? That's a standard traditional loan. So keep that in mind and making sure that you have enough funds in order to cover these two closings. Okay, so the second phase of the project is the permanent phase. And this money is needed in order to pay off the construction part once the house is actually finished. So keep that in mind as well. Also, during this phase, it now, as I stated earlier, turns into from interest-only payments into a standard loan, which has principal and interest payments. And that's more traditionally what you're used to. If you were to purchase a pre-existing home, you have one mortgage, right? With the interest and principal combined in that mortgage. So now you get into your monthly payments that you can have for a 15 or 30-year mortgage, however you decide or however your loan is set up. Keep in mind that the permanent phase has its own closing. Yes, I know. It's like, what? I gotta make two closes? But yeah, you do. In certain situations. It depends on how your loan is set up. But for us, we have to pay two closings, okay? So I want you to really keep that in mind as you may want to build in the future as well. All right, so I'll give you some key takeaways of what we've learned so far and just kind of how to prepare for this process when you're doing your construction to permanent loan closing or just in general constructing the property, right? So one of the things I want you to keep in mind is to have the funds available, have the funds readily available. For us, it's going to take about 13 to 15 months in order to construct the property. So it's not a quick and easy process. So we need to have the money and the funds available, not only for the interest-only payments, as I mentioned, interest-only payments will continue until the project is actually finished, all right? So we will have to have those interest-only payments. We will also have to be prepared for another closing for the permanent process. And we will also just have to have funds in general to sustain ourselves here too. So how do we do that? I actually have a video in which I discuss and share some of the ways that we save our money. And I'll link it below, ways that you can save over $500 a month. In this case, we're gonna definitely need to have that money on deck, right? So having the money and having the funds readily available, whether you're using the VA, which we're doing, we're a military family, so we're using a VA loan, or you're using an FHA, a conventional, whatever type of loan you're using, keep in mind that you will need some funds, okay? Second thing I want you to take away from this video is to be patient during the construction process. Yes, it requires a lot of patience. As I just disclosed to you, it was going to take us about 13 to 15 months to construct the property and be finished. Luckily, we have our own home that we're living in right now, in which we own. So it's no big rush, but it is a big rush because we're trying to, flip these properties to make money for us. But be patient. The day of closing for us on the construction part of the loan was scrambled. It was very scrambled. We had to change this is from the lender. They was like, we have to change your closing time until later. Instead of 1 p.m., it's now going to be 4, this, that. We didn't know that we thought we could get a cashier's check, and they told us we needed to wire some money and I'm like, this is crazy, but it's worth it. And knowing that it's worth it kind of allows us to get through it with patience. Because if we don't see the end goal in mind, we'll definitely drive ourselves crazy. So keep that in mind as well. It's a lot of things you have to keep in mind, and I keep saying that, but yes, definitely have that in the back of your head. It's patience. Really the forefront of your head, but have a lot of patience during this process. And the third thing I want you to keep in mind is be flexible. Like I said, I think patience and being flexible kind of go hand in hand. We've been tugged this way, paperwork, signing, doing this, being here at this time, doing that is all a lot. But again, if you keep your end goal in mind, it'll kind of get you through those difficult times where you just feel like, man, is this worth it? Like, this is a lot to just get into another property. And for us, it's definitely worth it because I see crunching numbers. I already see the payoff in the end, and we're almost there. So we're trucking along. And just a quick update from my followers and my subscribers, excuse me. We are shovel to ground we have a construction meeting in January, so shovel to ground should be end of January, early February, I'm assuming. So I'll keep you guys updated when they put the shovel in the ground and we are starting the project. So we're so excited. We were able to take my daughter to the closing as well, as you can see from the thumbnail. We just had a good time and made it an eventful day because essentially these properties will be handed down to her in the long run. So it was really cool to have her a part of the closing and to just make it an eventful day. When we closed on this property and some other properties, she was a little young, so she doesn't remember that process. Plus, we actually closed on this property while we were in Germany, so we kind of did it virtually. If you don't know about that process, just look at or know about us being a military family and investing in real estate from Germany. Kind of check out my other videos, in which I'll link below as well. So you could get a vibe of who we are and what we're trying to do and accomplish with our family as far as finances and just overall, wealth building. Special shout out to my new subscribers. Thank you and welcome to the Money Moves journey. That wraps up my video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Like, comment, share the video. If you didn't receive any value, please share with somebody who you think may get some value from it. Again, thank you. And until next time, you guys stay blessed. Peace.